Love it or hate it, Instagram is very much a part of our lives, and while a lot of people will use it as a way to post pouty photos of themselves in the clubs or some pictures of food, others have used it as a platform for success. In this episode of the Pro Photographer Cheap Camera Challenge, we're joined by celebrated Hong Kong fashion and portrait photographer Ruby Law. Ruby is a young photographer, but in the short space of time she's been in the industry, she's worked with major clients like Esquire and become Hong Kong's first photographer for Playboy. I see you got your camera out already.
Oh yeah.
It's a Sony A7
R2.
R2?
Yeah.
Not the R3.
Well,
How come you haven't?
It's
how come you haven't
expensive. It's expensive. The camera still works well.
Yeah, sure. It looks in good shape. I like how your camera is very. It's got personality.
Yeah, it's dirty. Just say it.
The SD card slot is like flapping about. We've got something much better for you.
Oh yeah?
And I think because Ruby is a fashion photographer, we got something specifically
Oh, what?
to match your outfit. Doesn't the yellow of the camera perfectly match the orange of her hat?
Wow. I'm so nervous right now. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons.
Makes it nice and simple. It's like a Leica, but yellow. It's a big upgrade over this for sure. The battery life is much better than the Sony.
Really? We're gonna shoot some dope shots.
Ruby's just flown in from Bonnie, Hong Kong, so she's a little unaccustomed to the harsh reality of a winter in Beijing. Power through. This is an old part of Beijing, and we want to have a sort of an Instagrammy kind of look. And for our model, we have Diana, who's originally from Kazakhstan and is now living in Beijing. And you're looking very fashionable and not cold at all. See, that's how you're supposed to model. That's a true model. Power through, Ruby, power through.
I'm surprised that this little camera still works. What's the temperature right now?
It's like it's not even 0 degrees, come on. It's like 3 degrees
cold.
or something.
This is like the coldest.
Ah, the things we do for fashion.
More stylish, just put it on the shoulder.
Oh my god.
Oh, so cold.
No, I'm looking at Diana and doing that. Don't care about you. She's the one without a coat, come on.
My god, so cold.
Good thing Diana's made of tougher stuff.
Love it.
Models have to be, since they usually shoot for the spring-summer catalogue in winter. It's not all catwalks and clubbing, you know?
Do you have a side preference of your face? Do you like which side better?
I do the left.
Alright, then show me the left one.
Okay.
Show me a good side.
Ruby usually flies to her models, so more often than not, her shoots are in foreign countries. This gives her a fresh perspective, so she can find inspiration in the most unexpected things.
You see, I just really love those. I don't even know what do you call that. It's not a blanket. It's not gloves. It's like gloves with blanket together.
Like an e-bike muff. It's actually pretty common for models to work with amateur photographers who are just passing through.
They come to China and they obviously looking for a model, right?
How do they find you?
Instagram.
Would they just like search for?
Yeah.
They search for Kazakh model in Beijing.
Yeah,
That's a very.
I have a Kazakh. You know, I tag in every time like Kazakh model.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And also I tag a location.
You're brave. If somebody messaged me out of the blue and they were like, "Oh yeah," not that anyone's going to be like, "I want to shoot you," but
Yeah,
like,
you know, you can check their Instagram page.
yeah.
You can use one hand to just hold the hair. You know, when you're at a shoot, there are so many things you have to take care of.
Yeah.
Like you could talk to the model, think about the light. And on top of that, if you have to think about the coloring on the camera as well, that's a lot of work. So sometimes when I'm in a rush, or some color setting is not right at that moment, I'll just go with black and white.
No, okay.
Because I shoot with RAW anyway, right? So
Yeah.
I can always convert it into color. I always say anything can be done during post-production. Lighting, you can't change it.
Yeah.
Model's expression, you can't really change.
You kind of looked over here at this little narrow alley and you're like, oh, interesting, let's go there. This is where usually people go to pee, but like, let's go there because it looks nice with the light.
That's the smell I'm smelling right now. Delicious.
So you came here because like you saw the light and not the ammonia, right?
This is photography in the street, not street photography. For Ruby, it's less about waiting for that moment and more about creating it according to her vision.
Kind of use your face to feel where the sun is, and then like close your eyes, open your eyes, look at the camera, messy hair. Camera? The pens are moving.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe it's a sign for us to go pick up some props of our own. And of course, the tackier the better.
She's just getting she was very attracted to the idea of a t-shirt that says I love BJ. Obviously it means Beijing. Get your mind out the gutter. God, you just outright took out the cash. That is not how you do business.
Stop moving.
You're gonna wear that to your next Playboy shoot, like I love BJ. And the model's gonna be like, well, that no one can tell what's going on with that. That's what you need to show the camera. BJ, just straight up BJ. Is that for Diana or is that for yourself?
No, it's for my pajama collection. Pretty comfy in here.
You could tap that on your next shoot. Have one of your models put on the blanket, wear an I love BJ
now
t-shirt.
sit on it and then put your hands inside. No, I'm just kidding. And 1, 2, 3, action. 1, 2, 3, look. Wow, this is some pretty slow shutter.
It's also not the best focal length for fashion photography.
It's wide-ish, isn't it?
It's wide. It's
wide-ish.
Definitely not a portrait camera.
What's your favorite lenses to use then for portraiture?
85 or 90 or 55
Yeah.
for half body.
Right.
But normally I don't go with really wide angle. Turn one more time and then you keep on walking and then turn a second time.
Ruby likes to get her models walking. She says it helps to loosen them up, which results in more natural poses.
I noticed that you often like to get your model to be like, walk, 1, 2, 3, turn. Why do you get them to do the countdown?
Just keep them busy.
Keep them busy?
Yeah, and then it's more natural, all the action. If you just here and turn, this will look really stiff. It will feel like just a tourist photo,
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with travel snaps.
If you scroll all the way down your feed, you also started off doing travel photography.
Yeah, I mean, back then I was just like anybody else. I travel, I gotta go to cool places and I just want to show off. That's all.
Yeah. But how did you transition from being like an Instagram photographer to a real photographer? Well,
So-
the real photographer is without these features.
No, I just basically I made it as a job. I start printing out business card, calling myself a photographer, and I actually learned photography after I've decided to be a photographer. At the beginning, when I was shooting a lot of events, I used autofocus, auto everything. I rent camera from the shop, and until I realized, I really want to just go serious on it, and I put in money, bought my camera, and that's it. I start learning.
So you learned basically on the job. Because a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, I started photographing.
Please don't tell my clients.
Too bad, Ruby, this is the internet. Anyway, we've come back to Ruby's hotel only to find an uninvited guest. It must have catwalked in. Ah, you see what I did there?
I think the cat will be the model now.
Count to 3, kitty.
If I knew that all we needed was a cat, it would have been a much easier shoot to organise. So our model today is Daria. You used to model, right? But you've stopped since?
Yeah, I used to be.
I've seen videos online of models kind of just being like, bam, 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 bam. Yeah.
Hey, change, pose.
Yeah. Did you
Yes.
used to do that?
That's because some gigs in China pay by the number of outfits you wear, so the faster you pose, the more you make. Which basically turns you into a robot.
I understand it's hard for the model to, do all the pose and with zero music,
Right,
so I
right.
think music can help them to put it into the environment.
Get relaxed.
Yeah.
So what sort of look are we going for with Daria today then?
Maybe something a little sexier.
Something sexier?
Yeah.
Ooh.
She's like, what? I didn't sign up for this.
What kind of music is sexy music then?
Really techno.
Techno. Tell you what, we've been going to the wrong clubs because every time I went to a techno club, it's a bunch of really dirty looking guys just going like this.
went to the wrong club.
I grew up in the wrong place, man. Sensual techno. Let's go.
No need for burst mode modelling here. We're doing a simple shoot with natural light that anyone can pull off in their own home.
I see that you've got some. Is that some CD? It's like
Come
you're
on.
old school, man.
Come on.
Okay, so what are those?
This is normally for the light to change the color. Not all sunsets are very golden and yellowish.
Right.
So then I'll usually pull out this one, put it in front of
Okay.
the lens, or if I tilt a little bit, it will give a little bit reflection, lens flare.
Your physical Instagram filter.
I hope it's gonna work. Let's see. Daria, do you have a side preference of your face?
No.
You don't? That's perfect. And some girls they do, and I think it makes them happy that you kind of care.
It's like coming in and being like, "How was your day?" Oh, I don't.
Actually, I don't really care, but I'll ask anyway. I'll find you a good angle.
Sometimes Ruby will ask Daria to imagine a certain scenario, like waking up in a new city. This helps the model visualize, and is much better at drawing out the emotion you want, as opposed to just saying, "look sexy."
I just love how she's escalating things. And at first, she was like, "Daria, go stand by the window. Think about your boyfriend." "Oh, Daria, come sit on the sofa." "No, Daria, go to the bed." And then earlier, she was also like, "Are you comfortable with, taking off the trousers, just going panties?" I had to jump in and be like, "No, guys, we're PG. Don't want to get flagged. We're not that kind of show."
I'm gonna stand on top of you, alright? Just wanna make sure you know what's going on. You'll be like, "What are you doing, Ruby?" The camera is here, right? So you're like kind of doing that, pointing out at the lens. Just do that.
If you're doing an intimate shoot, it'll be much easier for your model to relax if they know what's coming.
Is the necklace long enough to touch the lip? No, it's...
It's like a cheese wire.
Pull the shirt a little bit because it just...
For Ruby, hair is super important. It sets the mood.
Come on, dude, I just woke up. Don't take a photo of me.
Do you think it's a bit of a double-edged sword now that you're kind of known as, the female Playboy photographer?
It's an honor, but people, I shoot many things. A lot of people think sex sells. It does draw a lot of eyeballs to look at your portfolio. It might be good for internet, but the clients will not look at nude photo. Oh my God, I'm gonna hire her.
They want people to see the clothes. They don't want people to see a naked person, right?
Exactly.
With that in mind, we've come to meet Katharine von Rachenberg, a designer who's worked in haute couture houses such as Jacques Fat, Jean-Louis Scherer and Christian Dior. At least I think I pronounced one of them right.
Very special material. It's yak felt.
Yak felt. I've been around a lot of yaks and they've never felt like this.
No.
Oh, it's like
the down.
from young yaks.
From young
I guess.
yaks, yeah.
However, the most special material Katharine works with, and the one that brought her to China, is something she calls tea silk. It looks like leather, but it's actually silk dyed using the root of something called shuliang. This thing. The whole process is long and complex, and it's still done the traditional way out in southern China.
That looks like food. It looks like spaghetti bolognese. It looks like the bolognese sauce.
You think?
Yeah, doesn't that looks so much like bolognese sauce.
Well, I might not know much about haute couture, but I know pasta when I see it.
We call it tea silk because I thought it was very interesting that people use the leftover of their tea. So if they wouldn't drink this, they just have a bucket where they put the tea with the leaves, and they would use this to wash the silk because the tannin in the tea keeps the color.
So I guess after we're done, we can just make some more silk.
What's very special about this fabric is that it has these two sides. I never can decide which one is nicer, the black side or the brown side. That's why I have quite a few clothings you can turn around and you can feel the air and the movement. So I think maybe if it's hanging like this here, you don't think it's very special, but
If she's
take
walking,
pictures when you're
action.
walking, and I would like to see it's like a little bit like a waterfall.
It's going to
This
be
is,
hard to do with that camera though.
Well, at least we have a professional model. This is Maria. She's only 18, but she's already got 4 years of professional modeling experience under her belt.
When they hear you're a model, they're like, oh, so good for you. You just take pictures and get money.
Yeah, it's
I'm
an easy job.
Guys, it's not that easy. It's not that glamorous. It's not that, high level.
Have you ever been scouted by an amateur photographer who wants to get into the fashion photography scene?
So many times.
Yeah?
If I see someone that's young, someone that's creative, and I think we can connect, of course, I'm always open to shoot. But I'm always being very careful because safety first.
Yeah, of course. Always bring a pepper spray.
I mean, come on, I take boxing classes, so
Right.
if they want to fight, I'm ready.
Isn't that a problem too? Because you have to maintain your measurements, right?
Here it happens so many times, like you need to be skinny and then you go to the job and like they're always McDonald's or this.
Right.
And I'm like, "Why?" When it was like Kate Moss time, you couldn't even work out because
Right.
if you gain like even a slightest bit of muscles, like
Yeah.
you have to be like really crazy skinny. I'm very happy that now industry is really changing, so we are allowed to be more healthy.
So we have a proper model, proper makeup artist. It's costing us a lot of money.
And I still have a cheap camera.
And you still have a cheap camera. But look, if you want to get started in the industry, it's a lot of overheads to go out and hire all these professionals. How do you get started then?
The first model I ever got, I found her on the street. And I saw this tall, blonde, skinny, blue eyes. Can I have your number? Can I have your Instagram? I was struggling because as a girl, I've never ever asked anybody's phone number on the street. And she agreed. And I was like, oh my God, I got my first model. I used to hustle a lot with just emailing any chambers or concert or nightclub. If the price is right, they're willing to try.
There are even times when pro models will work for free.
When they have free time, agents would like them to meet different photographers, update the portfolio.
What about with clothes then? Because it's not easy to get designer clothing all the time.
Zara, H&M, any brand that will allow you to do free return. It was embarrassing for me the first time.
Wait, so you went into Zara or H&M?
I just grabbed anything medium size or whatever size the model is going to wear.
Okay.
And I was just thinking, are they going to remember me? I feel kind of bad, I'm ashamed of what I'm doing. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Move aside, H&M, we're doing real fashion now. Maria's wearing one of Catherine's signature dresses. The question is, will our cheap cam be able to capture its unique selling point?
So why this corridor?
A little back detail of the dress. I think the inspiration coming from the designer is the frame of the window.
Yeah.
And the good thing about the mirrors is that when you're holding the light outside, the mirror is kind of reflecting bouncing some of the light on her back as well. You to pretend you're the sun shining through the window, probably a little bit on the side.
Yes,
Got
madam.
It? Got it?
Yes,
All
madam.
right. Let's do it.
An assistant.
Some people might dream about photographing scantily clad ladies, but real photogs know, the more skin your model shows, the more your dream becomes a nightmare. You've got to spend hours smoothing out goosebumps and correcting skin tone that's gone blue from hypothermia. Luckily for Ruby, her cheap camera doesn't even capture the goosebumps in the first place.
Bye, you're staying outside. Staying here, so you can put your handle here. And go. And go. Love it.
Ruby's got Maria twirling around in order to highlight the fluidity of this dress and capture the airy quality of tea silk. Because at the end of the day, you've got to please your client.
Photography, a lot of lighting is artificial light,
Yeah.
but you want to keep it natural. You want to make sure the person who looked at the photo will see, okay, that must be a really sunny day.
I guess it's kind of like when you're doing post and you smooth things out.
Yeah.
People know it's been fixed,
Yes.
but it's not unnatural, right?
That's right.
Ruby got to where she is now through a ton of hard work. Her catchphrase is power through, because that's what she does when the going gets tough. Ruby is more than just a photographer. She's a one-woman army.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Yay!
Yeah!
And yay!
So now that we've got all these great shots, how do we get noticed?
First of all, you need to find who is the right person to talk to.
Right.
These people, they're just not walking on the street or waiting for you in a restaurant. You know, you need to go on the internet and research, use all kind of social media. As a photographer, especially a freelancer, you will constantly get rejection.
Thick skin. That's what you got to
Very
have.
important.
As a photographer, not as a model.
Both. I've had agent tells me you're not talented, you know, your portfolio is worthless. But if you believe in something so much, first time they don't reply, you do it second time, you know?
You got to be on top of your game.
Yes.
Got to power through.
Power through.
Power through.
We rarely think about what goes into making a thing of beauty. The truth is, the more effortless something looks, the more effort that went into creating it.
I like the transformation. Like when you first arrived, you're like, I'm gonna look fashionable because I'm a fashion photographer. And now you're just like a Michelin man. And you're like, screw this, man. As long as I'm warm, I don't care. The model looks fashionable, not the photographer. That's why I'm behind the camera.
Well, Beijing happens.
You can have your expensive camera
Oh,
back.
my baby.
And
I'll give this
I guess
back
you
to
probably want to
yeah.
part with this camera.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
I'll stay with my camera.
You So the saying that the best camera is the one that you got is not true when it's this camera.
I like Sony, you know, I'm not gonna give up on it. Actually, equipment matters.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of goes against the whole theme of the challenge. Next time we'll have a pro photographer cheap model challenge.
Actually, that's a good idea.
Cheap model, cheap camera.
Okay, no, maybe not.
The point is, if I take this and I'll wear a I Love BJ t-shirt, I
Yeah.
can pick up chicks on the street.
For sure.
I'll be like,
for
hey, I'm a
sure.
pro photographer.